Welcome back, guys, to another episode of SimCity. Last episode we spent a lot of time talking about the services and how they kind of affect the well-being of our city, right? This episode I've got some plans. I've got some plans that I want to do. So let's go ahead and get started. I have the game paused right now. The first thing we kind of need to attend to is this commercial demand. So if we go into our details page here, we're going to see that we have 362 total shoppers. 247 of them are unsatisfied. The reason being is we only have 115 goods coming from our industry to our commercial buildings, and they're all selling out, which we can see here. So we have 0 unsold goods, which is good. The problem that we're going to run into is the first thing you kind of want to do is say, oh, well, we're not producing enough goods, so we'll increase the amount of industry we have. And that sounds like a totally good idea in theory, but the more industry we make, the more workers we have to work in those buildings. So one quick way this guy is burning to the ground. Do you remember this guy? He's done for. We don't have a fire department. Oh well. Here's the thing about fires. Is this building catches on fire, that fire will then spread to this building, which will then spread to this building, which will then spread to this building. It doesn't always happen, in such a chain reaction type of way, but I'm guessing these two buildings are done for. So the way around that kind of commercial demand is parks. So parks will kind of fill the gap in there. So your Sims, they go to work, they come home, and they go shopping, and they come back home. That's kind of their daily routine. If they try to go shopping and there's no goods there, then they won't be happy. Sims get their happiness from commercial buildings, through shopping, or through parks. So parks will kind of simulate a commercial building in a way. So Sims visit these parks and they get happy from doing that. The trade-off is you pay an hourly rate for any parks that you build in the city. Since I don't really want to build any more industrial buildings, because they're all burning down anyways apparently. There that one goes. I think I'm going to build a park. And I think I'm going to put it right here. So we'll place that park down, and you'll see that these Sims start to get happy, and it'll spread out for a little ways, and these guys will come to visit this park if they can't go to a commercial building, so they won't get all pissed off and abandon their houses. So hopefully that gives us kind of a buffer, and we'll kind of keep an eye on that and see what we need to do from here. This building is gone, so we'll just go ahead and demolish it. That building will be gone soon as well. We can see that we're making about 1,000 an hour now, which is pretty decent for where we're at. We got 18 grand saved up. One of the things I was thinking about doing is maybe putting some specialty buildings in here. We can see these two industrial buildings are calling for them, in fact. So this tells me that we must have coal and we must have ore in the region. I'm not super sure that I want to place those buildings. At least not quite yet. So what I want to focus on right now is kind of expanding our residential sectors and getting more people in here to generate a little bit more cash flow for us. So I think I want to expand these two roads out here. Let's just take them all the way out here. And we'll leave that just the way it is over there. So from here I want to add some residents here. Just go all the way around there. So those guys are going to start moving in and generate some more tax revenue for us. The other thing that I wanted to check on was our education system. Eventually we want to get rid of this grade school and move up to a high school, and then from there we want to move on to a college. In order to do that, we have to have a certain number of students per day in the region attending school. So since it's 2:30 in the morning right now, all those numbers reset, so we have 0 at the moment. But seeing as how this can only have 150 maximum students in there, it's time to upgrade this building. We're just going to throw some classrooms on it. And we'll put a sign on it too. Yeah. Grade school. Great job. Oh. And a flag. So these guys are going to start moving in. We can see the plots forming up there. Whenever we create more residential sectors, it's important to make sure they have a way to get to school. And that's where the school bus stops come in handy. And we neglected to do that over here. So let's plop some there, plop one there, plop one there. That building is gone. So hopefully those guys start rebuilding soon. And I'm gonna speed up the game here a little bit just so we can get things moving a little faster. I think the next things we kind of want to focus on in the city is getting some of these other services up and running. And that would be our police, medical, and fire systems. Medical, we have 8 deaths per day. We can see a bunch of sick people in our city already. We don't have any crime, which is good. We have 3 fires per day. So I'm thinking that a medical system is probably going to be the most beneficial to the city. So once we save up enough money to do that, I think we're going to go ahead and do it. And we're making enough money every hour that I'm going to go ahead and take out a bond right now just so we can go ahead and plop down this medical facility. And kind of how I always do this is I want to place it somewhere that it has access to these main roads so I can get to, you know, wherever it needs to go a little bit faster. So we can see on this road here, let me slow it down, that this traffic is going up away from the city, this traffic is coming down towards the city. So if I plop, you know, this clinic here, as soon as they leave that building, the ambulances, they'll be going into the city rather than, you know, if I plopped it here, then they would be going out here, maybe making a U-turn there, depending on how smart they are. Sometimes they don't, but they might end up going all the way out of our city and turning around over here, coming back into our city, and then back to where they need to go. But it would be too late by then, and that person would probably be dead. So that looks like a great spot to plop that guy. The next thing I want to attend to really fast is our garbage system. Garbage will start piling up. You can see all the icons flashing over here. And garbage will both increase pollution where it's, you know, piling up at, and it's also a fire hazard, so it'll start fires as well. So we're going to go ahead and make one here. This looks like a great spot for it. So once that guy opens up and gets workers, they'll start taking care of some of our garbage problems here. One quick thing to note about, you know, these industrial buildings, we were kind of talking about them earlier, is that another way to increase the amount of goods they're producing would be to upgrade their density, which we would do by, you know, getting the road building tool out, clicking on the road upgrade button, and then doing it this way. The only problem with that is it means all of these industrial buildings are going to upgrade, which means that they're going to require more people to run, smoothly. If they don't get enough workers, they will shut down and we'll have a bunch of abandoned buildings. The other thing that we kind of touched on last episode is if I upgrade this road to medium density, it's going to create stoplights, or traffic lights in this intersection. So this will no longer be a free-flowing, artery in and out of our city. And that's something that we definitely want to avoid at all costs, or as much as we can help it anyways. So the trick to that kind of would be to, let's say, if we were to pause the game, we would demolish a small segment of road here, and then while that one was gone, we would upgrade this to medium density and then replace this again with low density. And that would still let all of these buildings upgrade, but it would keep this without traffic lights and, free flowing, right? So I just wanted to kind of touch on that real fast. We're going to go ahead and speed it back up again here. And we can see that, yeah, we're going to have to get a fire department really soon here because this is turning into a problem. Oh no, there's a fire. Yep, you're on fire. Oh jeez, these guys are on fire. Yep. So we got our clinic in. We can see garbage men are going. They're doing their job. They're picking up garbage. Great job on their part. But we really need to get a fire department. We have 5 buildings burned down per day. We'll get there. We'll get there. Still 0 crime. I'm happy about that. We don't have to worry about that too much right now. The best way to kind of generate more money early on is by increasing the amount of people we have in the city. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start doing that right now. We'll go ahead and do that. We're going to zone all of that for residential, and we'll zone all of this for residential as well. Oh gosh. We are not in great shape. We are not in great shape right now. So we desperately need some fire coverage, and this is kind of one of the added benefits of playing multiplayer. So if we had another person in the region and they already had a fire department or a fire system going, we could ask them to send some of their fire trucks over to our city to kind of help us out, in the interim here. But since we're alone, we're gonna have to kind of wait this out and just let buildings burn down. And oh, that guy was, well, oh well. I just demolished somebody who was definitely not on fire, but I didn't want him here anyways. So another thing to keep in mind, if you're new to this game, whenever we add a bunch of, residential into our city, so, kind of how we just added all of these houses here, when they're building, that's costing us money. So we can see that reflected in our hourly income right now. So we're at 750-ish an hour. Once all these guys move in and start getting jobs and go shopping and all of that, we're going to see this continue to rise. What's going on here? We have an upgrade available for our now City Hall. So whenever you reach a certain goal for your city, you'll be able to upgrade your City Hall, and that's all based off your population. So the next one is going to be at 15,000 residents. We'll be able to upgrade this again. And what that allows us to do is put an add-on onto this guy that we can't afford because we're broke. And that's all stuff like Department of Education, Department of Utilities, Safety, so on and so forth. The first one that I usually do is going to be the Department of Education, and that's going to allow us to build, you know, the high school, the colleges, and all of that good stuff. So once we get, it's gonna have to wait though, because we desperately need a fire station, as you can see here. So while we're kind of generating enough money to do that, how much is this guy? 20 grand. 20 grand. So once we get there, we'll attend to that. The next thing I wanted to do in this episode, hopefully, is to start to increase the land value. Because all of these jobs are going to require us to have medium and high wealth residents working these jobs as well. So what you want to do is you kind of want to find a good location where you kind of want the low wealth people, the medium wealth people, and the high wealth people, and kind of separate them out a little bit, because it's all based again off of parks. So, you know, if we select this guy, we can see that this radius here is going to improve the land value in this little circle. So we can't have everything super close together, because if we wanted, you know, everything on this side of the avenue medium wealth and everything on this side of the avenue, say, low wealth, if we plop this guy here, everyone in that green circle in theory is going to, you know, upgrade to medium wealth. Look at, oh gosh, that guy's unhappy, leaving this town full of death. Oh, sad day for them. We're working on it. We're working on it. We got a clinic. Clinic's full. Can't do much about that right now. So you really want to stay on top of... You're going to see me hitting this button a lot. The hotkey is B if you don't know. You're going to see me hitting that a lot and taking a look around the city. The reason being is abandoned buildings are more susceptible to catch on fire. So if you stop paying attention to that and have, you know, like 13 abandoned buildings, you're going to have a ton of fires to deal with. And, you know, our fire station is only going to have one fire truck when we build it. So it's only going to be able to attend to one fire at a time. So it's important to kind of keep an eye on everything. There's a lot of stuff you kind of have to manage in this game. And that's kind of what makes it fun, is you can't just kind of sit here and just kind of let it do its thing. You really have to manage it. And we can see the traffic here is starting to slow down a little bit. And the reason for that is because we have so many people moving in, and we're adding more people to the city. So we started out around, I want to say, maybe 5,000 people in the city. We're almost up to 6,000 now, and we can see that it's kind of starting to take its toll here. So our low density streets have 2 lanes. Once we start upgrading to medium density, it's going to double the amount of lanes, so it's going to increase our traffic flow a lot. And again, we want to make sure that we're not adding medium density streets to this avenue, because then this is going to be a bottleneck as opposed to, you know, the off-going streets. You kind of want to plan ahead a little bit and design your city in a way where you're going to have a main artery going in and out, and then some other main you know, avenues going left to right throughout the city. Oop. And you know, you don't want people to be stopping on this avenue, because if a bunch of people decide to stop right here, say our clinic's going somewhere to, you know, save somebody from dying, if they get stuck in a traffic jam, people don't move out of the way. They'll just sit here and they'll wait, and they'll go forward, and they'll wait, and they'll go forward, and then they'll turn and they'll go try to save somebody. So don't think that your police or fire trucks are going to kind of blow past your traffic jams, because that's just not going to happen. Let's see how our school's doing. So We're just about filling it up every day here, which is good. I can just see that we hit 20,000. Excuse me. That we just hit 20,000, so we want to make sure to add our fire station right away. And again, I want to add it on this side of the avenue so that as soon as they leave this building, they're going down into the city. And you'll notice that I placed it above the industrial, because industrial buildings have a knack for catching on fire. So I want to make sure that these fire trucks are able to get there as quickly as possible. And now that we have, fire coverage available, we're going to be in a lot better spot. We shouldn't see all of these buildings burning down anymore. So let's take a look. Is it open? Ready to respond to fire, so there he goes. He's on his way down here. Put it out! Oh, great job. Great job. So, may not look like much, but basically what they did is they prevented that fire from continuing to spread throughout, this community here. So even if they don't save the building, that they're at, it's still helping you out. It looks weird, and I don't know why the building exploded, and I got nothing for you there. But here's a great example. Let me show you guys this real quick. Garbage trucks. See how they stop at every house? See how there's 2 of them? Everyone behind this garbage truck is going to be stuck waiting for them on these roads because we only have 2 lanes. So it's very important to upgrade the density of your roads as soon as you're able to, as soon as your city can kind of handle it, because you're going to run into that. So we have garbage trucks that do that, and we also have recycling trucks that do that later on, and they stop by every single house, and anyone stuck behind them, man, they are in for a bad day. A bad day. So let's take a look here. What I'm planning on doing with this road is I want to extend it out both left and right to these roads over here, and then actually make the border roads as well. Yeah, I think I want to make the border roads avenues as well. So kind of how the residents work in this game, or your Sims, is they take the shortest path possible to wherever they're going. So at the beginning of the day, all of these Sims are going to leave their house and go look for a job. And no matter where you are in the city right now, this factory oh, well, not anymore. This factory right here is going to be the closest available place for employment, right? So all of these Sims are going to take the shortest path possible, which is going to be them all leaving, getting onto this main artery, and coming right here to find a job. After that, they're going to go to the next factory, and the next factory, and the next factory, so on and so forth. So you always want to make sure that you have kind of multiple ways to get to places. So one thing is we can build a road right here to connect these guys to this side of this street. So these people now, instead of coming out here, going to the main road, and trying to get a job at here, they're going to say, oh, well, this is the shortest path possible. So they're going to go and work at burger reprocessors. Oh, God. We need to upgrade our industry, because industrial goo. Okay. So that's kind of how the Sims work. And it's the same thing for when they're trying to go find a place to shop. They'll go home from their job, they'll come back home, and then they'll go try to find a place to shop at. And it's kind of the same system no matter where they're going. So the whole point of that is to make sure that your people aren't sharing the same roads as your service vehicles, so your fire trucks, your ambulances, garbage trucks, stuff like that. That's kind of the end goal of placing your roads in an intelligent manner. And I'm not very good at it, I'm really not, but keeping that in mind, it's going to go a long way for you. You know, if you're playing this game, try to keep that in mind. Because if you have all these people going onto the main road, and you also have your service vehicles going along this main road, then they're not going to be able to really respond to everything because they're going to get stuck in traffic. So building roads kind of like this, where rather than going to the main road, these people over here are just going to go here. And they're going to say, okay, these are our jobs. And then when they go home, they're not going to go on this road. They're just going to turn right back around and go home. So it kind of leaves this avenue available for everybody else. And I know I talked a lot about that, but it's important because, look, see how this traffic is bad? It's because of those two trucks right there. Because they're stopping at every single house. And you would think that the second truck would say, oh, you got this, bro. And you come over here. But no, that doesn't work. And you can see it. If you're playing this game, watch your garbage trucks, because this is what happens. I think that's going to do it for today's episode of SimCity. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and hopefully maybe even learned something from, you know, watching the series so far. If you haven't caught the first episode, it's up on the channel, and if you like what you saw, give me that thumbs up or like the video. If you want to keep seeing more, go ahead and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time.